Our focus tonight, though, is on live football. Just 5 minutes or so to go until kick-off between Norwich City and Coventry City. Dean, the onus may be on Coventry tonight. They're the ones pushing for promotion, so they have to carry the game to their opponents to try and take all 3 points home. How do you think their approach will affect the pattern of the game?
I think it'll have a huge impact on the pattern of the game. You talk about getting over that blip. I think those 2 wins will have done that mentally for the squad. So you'd expect them to come here expecting to get the results and really test whether Norwich have turned a massive corner. And if you're a Norwich player, you can never say it's a free hit because they need the points to pull themselves further away from the bottom 3. But this is the type of game. A month or so ago, you wouldn't have expected to get anything. So if they do, then it's a win for the fans.
You can't let Coventry's midfielders begin to settle on the ball. I think that midfield area is going to be very important in terms of disturbing the rhythm for Coventry, not letting them get settled in the game at all.
Yeah, and in Matt Grimes, we've got one of the best midfield players over the last 2 or 3 seasons, certainly in the Championship, and for Coventry this season, he's been magnificent. And I think maybe we don't talk about him enough. He's in the Championship, he's first for chances created, and he's third for accurate passes per match. He is somebody that, when he gets the ball, he is looking to affect the outcome of the game with the balls that he's trying to feed to his attacking players. That's the kind of player that's going to take you on to get promoted.
Interesting question coming up, I think anyway, but I wrote it. Who are the 3 points more important for tonight?
I think it has to be Coventry, actually, I would say. I think with having that stutter, I think to put 3 wins on the board and make that gap 6 points to Middlesbrough, I think considering where they've been over the previous seasons and what a big opportunity this is, a bit like we've talked about Arsenal in the Premier League, if you start to stutter, it can affect players longer term, whereas Norwich are on the up anyway, and I don't think they will see this as an earmarked game that you have to get 3 points.
Still, I believe it could be a really great contest this evening live on Talksport 2. There is live Premier League action over on Talksport as well. Leeds United looking to respond to some big results for teams towards the bottom at the weekend. They visit Everton. You can download the Talksport app, swipe seamlessly between both games this evening. You can ask your smart speaker for Talksport. It's there on your DAB radio as well. Here on Talksport 2, your exclusive EFL action sees Championship leaders Coventry City visit relegation threat and Norwich City, hoping to re-establish a 6-point lead at the top. Your commentary team is the former Norwich and England striker Dean Ashton and Talksport's Mike Sewell.
Thank you, Hugh. Welcome everybody to Carrow Road on a chilly night, but it's dry. We haven't got the frosty feeling that we had a few weeks ago, or the feeling that the Norwich fans had for much of the first part of the season, where the reception was rather frosty for the players for game after game after game. But since Philippe Clement's arrival in the middle of November, Norwich are a very different proposition to the team that Coventry would have come up against near the start of the campaign. Norwich actually earned a draw away from home at Coventry, but they had to defend for their lives in that game. But they've got a really good record against them. Coventry come here 5 games without a win on the road in the league, but they are top of the table and they have a very dynamic lineup tonight. The first team to go through, though, is Norwich. In goal for them, Kovacevic, Fisher, McConville, Cordoba and Crescene across the back. Captain Kenny McLean and Maatsen in central midfield. Then it's Springett, Ben Slimani and Ahmed behind Jovan Makama, Norwich's leading goal scorer with 13 across all competitions this season and 9 in his last 9 appearances. There are 2 changes for Norwich from their 5-0 win at West Brom last Tuesday. Coventry have made 3 changes. Latabodia, Eccles and Rodoni drop out of the starting 11. In come Thomas, Torp and Thomas Asante. So it's Rushworth in goal, Van Ewijk, Thomas, Kitching and De Silva in defence. Torp and Grimes in central midfield. Grimes, the Coventry captain. Esse, recently signed, out on the right side with Thomas Asante behind Haji Wright and Mason Clark on the left. it is a fascinating contest, this team.
It is because of where the two clubs are in the division, and probably the recent form, of course, for both sides. Obviously Norwich having a big upturn in form because of the new manager and what he's been able to do, and the freshness of the players that he's brought in, and Coventry because they've got to maintain that points gap.
We're about to get underway. Coventry are going to get the game underway. 6 of their players are standing on the far side of the field on the halfway line. This is a training ground routine that's about to occur. Real glut of navy blue on the far side as referee Thomas Kirk blows his whistle. And it's Matt Grimes, the Coventry captain, who plays it back to his goalkeeper, Carl Rushworth, and he sends it down that right-hand side where all those players were, but it goes out for a Norwich City throw-in. Norwich in their customary yellow shirts, green shorts and yellow socks. As I mentioned, Coventry in all navy blue, defending the goal away to the right, the river end of Carrow Road, and Norwich are trying to attack down that far side there left.
Yeah, and of course, Ben Slimani has come in, having been very impressive against West Brom, just playing behind McCarmer. I think he could have a key role up against Grimes in that midfield area.
Coventry City fans have sold out their portion of the south stand on the far side of the field from where we are, and Norwich have possession with one of their new signings, Ali Ahmed, joining from Vancouver Whitecaps earlier on in this transfer window and scoring in his second appearance in that very impressive 5-0 win away at West Brom last week. That was in the wake of a victory away to Wrexham. So it really highlights the transformation that Norwich City have undergone since the arrival of the Belgian head coach Philippe Clement. Possession is just shy of the halfway line, with Norwich City in yellow. Moving down the right side, McCarmer chases after Fisher's long ball, but it's gone all the way through to Rushworth, who's played every single minute of Coventry's championship season so far, as has his counterpart at the other end, Vladan Kovacevic. Coventry have it just inside the Norwich half. On this, the left, Mason Clark threads it down the middle. Wright is after it. Cordoba gets in the way, and we have our first corner of the game. Dean Ashton.
Terrific play there, wasn't it, from Mason Clark? As he received the ball, he just bounced backwards into the Norwich City player and was able to gain the ground. Lovely little slide rule pass down the side of Fisher, I think it was. Brilliant from Cordoba. Needed to get across because Haji Wright's got pace and was looking to strike with the left foot.
We've had 3 minutes play, or 2 minutes play at Carrow Road. Norwich 0, Coventry 0. Corner from this near side, the Coventry left, swung towards the back post, headed by a Coventry player without any power, and it just arcs into the arms of Vladan Kovacevic, Norwich's Bosnian goalkeeper, who's taken over the goalkeeping duties, vacated by the now departed Angus Gunn. And Kovacevic threads it out to that far side, the left, with Cordoba, who immediately hits it long down the far side, speculatively, and you could argue wastefully, though. McCarmer's pressure on Rushworth forces the Coventry goalkeeper into clearing in a hurry, and Norwich have possession back inside their own half, away to our left. Talksport 2, live at Carrow Road. We also have commentary on Talksport of Everton versus Leeds in the Premier League. McLean, short to Fisher on this near side, the Norwich right. Springett tries to shrug off the attentions of Jay Da Silva, right on his heels, and it pays off for Coventry because they have a throw about 15 yards inside the Norwich half, which Da Silva takes. Ben Slimani gets in there quickly. Another Coventry City throw. February 2009 was the last time that Coventry beat Norwich in any competition, 17 years ago. 18-year-old Jordan Henderson scored in that game for Coventry City. That's how long ago it was, because Henderson's he must be 35 now, and has had a long career at the top flight of English football as the ball goes out of play and Norwich have a throw-in. Dean.
Well, and sometimes it's so strange, the records that teams will have against a certain opposition, and whether that will affect you as players. I've always felt like you don't really look and think about that as a player. You're so concentrated on just the game itself and the current players that are there and how you have to try and overcome that. But there's clearly something there.
Cordoba in the left-back position on the far side. He's trying to get the better of Haji Wright, who just will not leave him alone. In the end, Maatsen swings it to this near side where Springett brings it down. Good touch, but De Silva nips in to take it off him and plays it into the Norwich penalty area. Shot on the turn. The Coventry fans on the far side thought it had gone in, but it actually struck the hoarding and then the net of the goal.
So sharp though, wasn't it? Jay De Silva off the touch of Springett, just to get in there and play it in towards Victor Torp, who will drive into the area if he can. It's actually McConville with the block, like you said, hit the back hoardings and the back of the netting.
So Coventry have another corner from this near side. The last one was right into the heart of the 6-yard area. It's going to be swung in by Victor Torp towards the far post. Again, a Coventry player gets a head on it, but it's not a clean header. And Springett clears by playing the ball across his own penalty area. He's got away with it here because now Norwich are on the break, but a misplaced pass from Jovan Makama sees it go out for another Coventry throw-in. Norwich have been a bit loose with their passing so far.
A little bit. I think Coventry's press has been excellent. It's that courage and bravery and confidence of the top side to come away from home and look to press the opposition, to test the opposition, and Coventry have done that very well so far.
And they have it on the far side there, right. It's clipped into Haji Wright, just inside the area. McConville nods it away. Maatsen is fouled as he tries to get to the ball by Romain Esse, and Norwich have some respite.
I think just looking at those first two corners for Coventry, Torp, he's kind of spun them in, just floated them in with a bit of spin, almost as if they are looking to overpower that position that Kovacevic is looking to take up. He isn't the tallest goalkeeper. It is something that they're looking to try and target.
Well, an unusual happening has just occurred over on the far side of the field in the Norwich left-back position, which is just to our left. Ben Cresceni is clutching at his left shoulder. I don't know whether he's dislocated his shoulder, but he seems to be in a great deal of pain. He's right in front of what were pretty unsympathetic Coventry fans. In a pantomime way, they cheered as he fell over, but he's obviously fallen rather awkwardly.
Yeah, and it looks like I think you can tell when it's a shoulder injury, just the pain that the players are in. You certainly don't fake that when it comes to shoulder injuries. Luckily, I've never had one myself, but when players have, they've talked about how uncomfortable that is. And already, Harry Amass is out to warm up.
18-year-old Harry Amass, who was only signed the other day on loan from Manchester United. Cresceni is now walking to the far side of the field, and I think he might be okay to continue, but he's still clutching that left shoulder. He's been seen to by the physios.
That can happen all of a sudden when you see a substitute warming up and you're in a bit of pain. That you
especially after
think,
7 minutes.
I better try and carry this on, or else that'll be my place gone.
So for the time being, at least, I think Ben Cresceni is going to continue. He's yet to come back on, but Amass has headed back towards the bench. There's a conversation going on between Philippe Clement and his coaches. Norwich have 10 men. It's 0-0, and you're listening to Talksport 2 live at Carrow Road in the Championship. A slip by Tony Springett allows De Silva to find Mason Clark down this left side, the Coventry City left. Mason Clark back to De Silva at the angle of the penalty area, under pressure from Springett. Now back to Mason Clark again, just in from the touchline, in line with the edge of the area. That's really good defensive work by Anis Ben Slimani, who immediately feeds it down the right for Makama. Up against Kitching, comes across to tackle and wins the free kick for a perceived foul. Philippe Clement doesn't agree because he's wagging his finger at the fourth official, Sam Allison.
I think that's just because he's been slightly clever in Makama, putting his arm across Kitchen's shoulder and him going down rather easily. But ultimately Makama can't give him the opportunity.
Incidentally, Ben Cresceni, the Norwich left-back, is back on the field, and now there's another Norwich player down, Rory McConville. There's rubbing his sore head after being fouled, and we have a free kick for Norwich now in front of us. Game has not really got into any kind of flow at the moment, and we've almost played 10 minutes.
No, but I think Coventry have pinned Norwich back. They haven't been able to get out. It's just been those odd balls in behind that they've looked for McCarmer, who, if he's up against both of the centre-backs, it is going to be difficult to get yourself free.
We've got a Talksport 2 exclusive tomorrow. Lincoln City against Bradford City in League One. Ian Danter will be there with former Leeds manager Neil Redfern. And over on Talksport at the moment, it's Everton against Leeds in the Premier League. 0-0 there as well. Slimani to the edge of the area for Norwich. Now McCarmer on the right side, goes down under a challenge. Referee shakes his head in disagreement with the majority of the Norwich fans who thought that McCarmer might have been fouled inside the area.
I think he made a lot of that, did McCarmer. I mean, Bobby Thomas really pulled out of a challenge with Slimani, which was poor. And then as soon as he felt the contact, McCarmer, he's tried to fool the referee by throwing himself down. I mean, he didn't really look towards the referee to ask for a penalty, to be fair to him.
We have yet another free kick. It's been peppered with free kicks in the last few minutes. Norwich have one now inside their own half towards their right. The corresponding fixture here in January of last year was an incredibly dramatic affair. Coventry took the lead after 24 minutes through Milan van Ewijk. Norwich scored twice in added time through substitute Amankwa Forsen to win the game. I have to say, I interviewed Frank Lampard after the match. He was completely shell-shocked. Couldn't quite believe his team had lost the game. Couldn't believe they would have even drawn the game. They were in such control until that point, but Forsen came off the bench to score 2 goals. He's not involved at the moment. He's currently out injured for Norwich. And we have some respite as Coventry take their time with a throw-in. Away to our right on this near side. 11.5 minutes played. Norwich 0, Coventry 0 from the Championship. Coventry top of the table, looking to extend their lead. Norwich looking to move further clear of the relegation zone that they were deeply ensconced with for so long. But in recent weeks, they've managed to pull themselves up and out. And they have a throw-in now. Deep inside Coventry territory, which Kellen Fisher is going to take. Short to Kenny McLean. Back to Fisher. Hustled out of it by Efren Mason-Clark, and it's sent downfield towards right. Cross comes McConville, who reads it better than anyone else, and he can guide it back to Vladan Kovacevic in the Norwich goal.
Yeah, he's made a really strong start, McConville. He's been given his opportunity by Clement. Obviously coming here from Brighton, not really getting a look in. All of a sudden he finds himself as a first choice centre-back, and he started this game extremely well and aggressively against Hadji, which I think just lets him know that it's not going to be an easy night, and if he's going to get anything, he's going to have to really work for it.
McConville was already a Northern Ireland international before he established himself in the Norwich team, still only 20 years of age. Norwich having to defend at the moment. Cordoba with a lovely first touch into the path of Cresceni, who seems to have shaken off his shoulder problem. He gallops into the Coventry half down the far side of the field. Ali Ahmed stands in, right-footed shot, which is high and wide of goal, but the intent was good, the finish less so.
Yeah, nice and bright and positive in terms of that first movement towards the defender, looking to go 1v1, cutting in onto his right foot, Ahmed, and it was a poor strike in the end. It was more a crossing technique rather than a striking technique, so whether he wasn't quite sure what he should have done from that angle.
Coventry inside their own half, just shy of the halfway line with their captain Matt Grimes, and back to Liam Kitching, and he decides that the ball further back towards Rushworth is the better option at this moment in time. 0-0 with 14 minutes played. We've also got commentaries coming up later in the week, Wednesday night. Of course, it's the final match day in the UEFA Champions League. As Cresceni's chest down is not a good one, and Cordoba comes in to save Norwich, because for a split second there, out of nothing, Coventry could have easily scored.
Yeah, it was just a hopeful ball over the top. Torp had made a late run from midfield, and Cresceni just needs to nod this back to his goalkeeper. He ends up trying to chest it, hits him in the face, but actually it's himself that gets himself out of trouble. Just nips the ball away from Torp, and then Cordoba was there to support also.
Just mentioning that Wednesday night we have Champions League action. Paris Saint-Germain, the holders, against Newcastle. Adrian Durham will be presenting. Jim Proudfoot and former England captain Stuart Pearce will be commentating on that game. It's going to be a fascinating night with all the games taking place at the same time on match day 8 to see who can finish in the top 8. Over the top it goes. Mason Clark to the dead ball line, cuts it back. McConville calmly sweeps it into touch for a Coventry corner kick. And they have been a real threat so far, Coventry City. Yeah,
and I guess adding Thomas Asante to an already pacey forward line is only going to make things more difficult for Norwich. And they're playing quite a high line. Is the Canaries' defence looking to try and play offside, but they're getting those deep runners like Torp, like Thomas Asante.
The voice of Dean Ashton on Talksport 2 as Coventry have a corner. This one will be an outswinger from Grimes, left-footed, drives it towards the back edge of the 6-yard area, glanced away off the head of Ben Cresceni and picked up by Ali Ahmed on the far side. In it goes to Kenny McLean, back to Ahmed, who's immediately put under pressure and loses the ball to Victor Torp, who in turn loses it to Pelle Madsen, and Norwich come forward 5 against 5 here. Down the middle, Slimani to the left of the area, Makama, heavy first touch, allowing Coventry to step in, and I think there may well have been a flag anyway.
Yeah, it was a decent counter-attack. Pelle Madsen doing well to intercept the ball from Torp. And power forwards, he picked the right pass into Slimani, who found Makama, and just that heavy first touch. Van Eerwijk, excellent to just get in and take the ball, and Makama, I think, just fouled him as he then tried to recover the ball.
Long ball forward by Coventry, which is thied away by Jose Cordoba into Slimani, and now Fisher towards this right side. Infield to the centre circle. Slimani, loads of space to run into, and he's got Ali Ahmed to the left. Slimani goes it alone, and in the end it was quite a disappointing finish, and he had a very good option to his left.
Yeah, I think the supporters said it all, didn't they? Really got off their feet, excited with the run, the fact that Coventry stepped away, got himself to the edge there, and then it was a tepid attempt, wasn't it? It was more a pass into Rushworth's hands rather than a fierce drive from the edge of the area.
Ball is pinging from one end to the other at the moment. Norwich on the attack again. McLean to this right side, just outside the Coventry area. Springett running at De Silva to the D. Madsen onto his left foot, tries a shot which is blocked at close range by Torp. Norwich win it back, and in fact they get a free kick for a foul by Esse on Ahmed, and it is around about 10 yards outside the area towards the left, and we have our first yellow card, which goes to Coventry's new signing, Romain Esse.
Oh, we'll see it month in, month out, year in, year out, a player taking a heavy touch, trying to rectify the situation, and then diving in to try and win it. Clatters Ahmed at shin height with his own shin and receives a yellow card for it.
Romain Esse on loan from Crystal Palace, who he joined from Millwall last January and then actually scored against his former club last week. Even though Ali Ahmed is on his feet, Pelle Madsen is down, having his left ankle looked at. I don't know if he's going to get some more strapping in there. We're getting a glimpse of Norwich's latest signing, Paris Magoma, signed from Brentford. It was announced at 5 o'clock today. He sat in the director's box here at Carrow Road with a Norwich City scarf draped around his neck. He was actually presented to the crowd when he, just prior to kick-off. I wonder, the thought is that maybe he might be the number 10 that Norwich are looking for since the departure of Marcelino Nunez to Ipswich.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's going to be given the opportunity, of course. And look, they don't want Pelle Mattsson to go down, of course, but I think bringing in reinforcements, I think, was always going to be the idea for Clement, especially with the start that he'd made. And Magoma could add some serious potential and quality. I think we've seen that previously at his previous clubs like Bolton, but still yet to really prove himself, I think.
Mattsson is walking over to the touchline on the far side to some warm applause. 20 minutes have passed. It remains Norwich 0, Coventry City 0 in the Championship, live from Carrow Road. And likewise, it's Everton 0, Leeds 0 in the Premier League. So we await our first goal of the evening on Talksport. Norwich have a free kick. Matsson's waiting to come back on. It'll be taken by Ahmed towards the back post. His target was Springett. Rushworth was there first, and he's delivered the ball quickly to Hadji Wright down this left side. He runs into the Norwich half. He's got support to his left, running around the outside in Jada Silva. He eventually gets it from Grimes, and then it's down the line. Wright not marked to the dead ball line, cuts it back. Literally hammered into the Barclay end behind the goal by Anis Ben Slimani for another Coventry City corner, and Norwich are back to 11. Pelle Mattsson's on the field again. Yeah,
I mean, they've earmarked Norwich's right back area, Fisham and Conville, two of the more inexperienced players of Coventry, looking for Mason Clark, and Hadji Wright peeling out to that side also. They've got some joy so far, but actually Slimani didn't really need to hit that behind. He shanked it rather than trying to get out for a throw-in.
Delivered towards the back post, a tricky one which is punched away by Kovacevic. Ahmed collects it on the far side of the Norwich penalty area, and then with a bit of a jink and a wriggle, he gets away from Grimes, up to Ben Slimani inside the Coventry City half. Cut out though by Grimes, and all the way through to Rushworth, who'll build again for Coventry. High, straight down centre field. Old school, direct play, which doesn't come off because Kenny McLean is there to calmly tidy up. And given the amount of signings that Norwich have made, it shows how important Kenny McLean is that he remains in the team. Yeah, because I think you still need that experience. I don't think he lacks the athleticism yet, and he can play. And he's played a lovely ball to the right side of the area. Fisher's after it, into the box. Kellen Fisher across the face of goal. Makama coming in slightly too late. And that's the best chance that Norwich have had so far.
Well, he really didn't make the most of that, did he, Kellen Fisher? Because it was a great pass from Kenny McLean. He had all the space then to run into the penalty area, but he never really got it properly out of his feet and actually took it wider than he needed to. He made it more difficult, and in the end, the strike was poor because not only didn't it threaten the goalkeeper, but it was then too quick for anyone coming in at the back post.
We're at the midway point of the first half. It remains goalless here. Just to tell you that tomorrow night we've got kick-off with Adrian Durham on Talksport. He's got Chris Owellamo and Dean Holden with him. All the goals as they go in from the EFL, including Cardiff Barnsley, Lincoln Bradford, which has commentary on Talksport too, and Bolton Burton. The whistle's gone for yet another free kick for a foul on Hadji Wright this time. And it's about 15 yards inside the Norwich half on this, the Coventry City left. Frank Lampard, hands in pockets, watching on, issuing a few instructions vocally. Philippe Clement is about 20 feet to his right. Again, watching his team have possession of the ball with Ahmed, who's seen a lot of it on that left side so far. Back to Cresceni on the halfway line, and now Cordoba to McConville. It's very patient. Norwich waiting for an opening. Coventry pressing high up the pitch to possibly force an error. Ahmed further down the left to Cresceni. Nicely worked infield to Slimani. We're now midway inside the Coventry half. Cresceni keeps it in near the corner flag. Almost puts it out of play and then plays it into Ahmed. Gets it back. Left-hand angle of the area. Mattson into the D. Fisher. Right-footed shot is blocked by, I think, Grimes. and now Coventry can come away with it. And Fisher, from being the attacker, having the shot, has run all the way back to make the challenge to win the ball, and in the end a free kick.
Terrific determination, wasn't it? I mean, the touch he had, because it was fired into him by Maatsen on the edge of the area, the touch he had to take it out of his feet and have a shot and then sprint back. No wonder he's just put his hands on his knees and just took an extra breath into the lungs.
Well, Kellen Fisher, who plays at right back for Norwich, is of quite slight build, but he is as brave as anyone. He doesn't back out of any challenges. Signed from Bromley a couple of seasons ago. Here's Slimani for Norwich, having a good spell. It's played through to Makama, who is onside down the left. He's got a man in the middle in Springett. Makama in towards Springett. It's deflected wide of goal by a Coventry player. From the angle that we're at, it looked like it might be looping in.
Yeah, I mean, it was. If you're in that position wide, then that is the way you've got to play that across, with pace, trying to just miss the defender, because then if he has to slide in, it could, as it almost did, inadvertently go into his own net. If not, then your strike partner in Springett would have been there to tap in. It was an excellent ball from Makama,
who just stayed onside. 20 minutes left of the first half. Ali Ahmed has gone across to the far side, away to our right to take the corner kick. Referee, though, in the meantime is having to sort out an issue inside the 6-yard area involving Jovan Makama. And I think Brandon Thomas Asante are basically hugging each other, a bit like they're getting prepared for a selfie. But it's definitely not that. Now it's more like a wrestling match. There's another one going on as well involving McConville. The corner will eventually be taken, though, by Ali Ahmed. Low ball in short, laid off by McLean. Cordoba! Saved on the line by somebody, and then claims of a foul on Maatsen. Waved away. Somebody got the body in the way from that shot from Cordoba. As it goes back into the penalty area, and this time Rushworth can claim it. Did Rushworth make the save?
Oh, your guess is as good as mine. There's too many bodies in the way. There was about 7 Coventry City bodies in the way of the goalkeeper because of how tight it was, and it just cannons off the post in the end from Cordoba. Missed everybody. Rushworth was down to his right, didn't need to save it because it came back off his post.
Still goalless as Coventry come forward now. Esse just in from the right flank on the halfway line, checks and goes back out to the far side. It's played into the channel where Torp is waiting, and then all the way back again to Bobby Thomas. Kitching is switching it from right to left. Coventry City, top of the EFL Championship, an incredible start to the season. Had the odd blip along the way in recent weeks, but they're very much in charge at the top of the table, although Middlesbrough and Ipswich are hot on their heels. Ahmed has intercepted a pass by Thomas and heads into Coventry territory, straight into Victor Torp. Recovers, finds Maatsen, now McLean in the centre circle, looking around for options, and the only one he has is into Ahmed, who gets the return pass from Slimani. Van Eyck goes across to cover, and right by the corner flag he just thumps it down the line. Headed back in by McLean. Slimani battling away with Grimes, and he gets the ball from him. Shows a bit too much to Thomas, but Norwich keeping this ball alive. They keep recycling it.
I mean, that's what Clement has brought to this Norwich City side, is that never give up attitude. If one can't quite make it, there's another one backing him up, ready to challenge. And if there's a loose ball or a loose touch from the opposition, someone's onto it. Pelle Maatsen has brought a lot of that since Clement has come in to manage the side.
McConville on the halfway line has to go back and infield to Jose Cordoba, the Panamanian international. Tall, imposing figure at the back. In fact, he and McConville are very tall, slim defenders, and they appear to be the best combination in that central defence for Norwich City.
Well, certainly the favoured combination for the manager. I think clean sheets yet is something that needs to be worked on, something that needs to be worked towards. But certainly at the moment, those two feel as if they've got the starting spots.
And Jose Cordoba very close to scoring what would have been only his second goal for Norwich City in what is his 12th league appearance of the season. Got a slight break in play as Coventry have a throw in on the far side, which Milan van Ewijk, the Dutchman, will take. Runs up towards the halfway line, launches it very long down the right, headed away by Cordoba, collected by Ahmed and immediately into Makama. That's really good play from the Canadian up towards the Norwich City striker. Now Fisher coming round to the right, just outside the area here. Fisher steps in. Jay Da Silva's presence made sure the ball didn't reach its target, and now Coventry turn defence into attack with SA down this the left to the angle of the penalty area, right against McConville. Gets stuck under his feet initially, Haji Wright, but he turns, gets support down the line from Da Silva. Midway inside the Norwich half towards this, the left side. Da Silva can cross, left-footed, good delivery as well. Headed away by McConville, back in by Kitching. Coventry come again down the right with Bobby Thomas. Everybody bar Carl Rushworth inside the Norwich City half. The momentum has been lost, and Rushworth plays it straight to Kellen Fisher. It's rather wasteful from Coventry. And down the line on the right side for Springett. Lots of space to exploit into the penalty area. Tony Springett cuts it back, but it's not close enough to Ali Ahmed. And across comes Van Ewijk to concede, I think, a corner.
They just haven't made the most of those opportunities. There's big spaces when Da Silva goes forward and leaves the gap. Van Ewijk leaves the gap in behind the Coventry defence. Bring it there, wrong choice. Needs to flash that across to Makama, who's waiting on the 6-yard line. He tried to pull it back. He didn't quite get the power on the ball to get it to Ahmed.
It's actually a throw-in right by the corner flag, which Kellen Fisher is preparing to take. We've had 31 minutes of play, but we've not had a goal as yet on Talksport 2. Over on Talksport, Leeds are away at Everton, and they have taken the lead in that game. James Justin has scored after 28 minutes. Everton 0, Leeds 1. Of course, managed by the former Norwich City manager, Daniel Farke. Norwich have a corner now. Their right wing, it'll be a left-footed in-swinger. Makama is causing all sorts of problems in front of Rushworth. He's trying to manoeuvre for position, but he's being held by Thomas Asante. In fact, they've got arms around each other as it comes right in. Headed away to the edge of the box, hooked further clear by Da Silva. Why are referees not imposing themselves in these situations? You just see it all the time now.
Because it's so difficult, because both players are giving as good as they get. That's the issue.
McLean has just sent in a cross, which is headed onto the roof of the net by Rory McConville, who stayed forward from the corner.
How do you really distinguish between who's pulling whose shirt the most? That's the issue, and so much of it goes on before the ball's actually kicked.
But surely, if you say to those players, you do it, you warn them, you do it again in this passage of play, I'm going to book you both. I don't care who's doing what, you're going to both get booked.
Well, yeah, but
cut it out.
Yeah, but you would be booking so many players during the game for it. I mean, until you come, physically up against another footballer like that, the strength that they have nowadays, it becomes just a wrestle. It does. They're so strong.
Free kick has been awarded Coventry's way, midway inside the Norwich half. It's almost straight down the middle. And Matt Grimes wants to take it quickly. The referee says, I want to spray first before you do that. Got to get my white foam down 10 yards. He's done that now. And Norwich are not actually going to use it anyway. Anis Ben Slimani is the closest to that. They're just splitting to try and mark every Coventry City player who's come forward. It is taken short again by Grimes. Out to the far side, the right. SA against Ahmed, left-footed cross, low ball flicked on by Bobby Thomas towards Haji Wright. Norwich get it away, and the whistle goes for a head injury. Pelle Matson is down. The Norwich fans weren't happy initially because Springett was going to run away with the ball.
Yeah, I mean, look, the referee can't take that into account. Matson's down, holding his face. He has to stop the game. I know, to the frustration of the Norwich City supporters, because Springett was away. But there was certainly an arm there from Thomas Asante off the ball. That's what some of the Norwich City players are talking about, is a horrible elbow, really. We've been fortunate enough to actually see that on the monitor in front of us. I mean, that's a red card. That is just an elbow to the face from Thomas Asante.
Well, nothing's been done about it by the referee, and of course we do not have a video assistant referee in the Championship. But if that had been a Premier League game,
he would be walking, without a shadow of a doubt. That's a nasty looking elbow, just a retaliation to a bit of holding from Maatsen. He just turns and elbows him straight in the mouth.
That is a red card. But clearly neither the referee nor his assistants saw it, because it was off the ball. Maatsen is getting to his feet right now, and Brandon Thomas Asante is a lucky man, and Kenny McLean, I think, is expressing that view at the moment as well.
Well, just be interested to see. I mean, Maatsen's not looked towards him yet. I mean, if that had happened to me, I'd be telling Thomas Asante exactly what I thought of him and what I thought of that act, and make everyone realise what's just happened. Maatsen hasn't looked at him as yet.
Maatsen's actually walking towards us on this near side, and for the second time in the game he's going to have to come back on after being injured, but he will recover. He's shaking his head, he's talking to the fourth official, but as you say, Dean, he's not making a huge amount, not making much of it. I think a lot of other players would be. Ball is now with Cordoba, lifted forward, headed away by Thomas inside the Coventry half. Norwich down to 10 men at the moment, while Maatsen waits to come back on. We have 9 minutes left of the first half. We await a goal in the Championship on Talksport 2, live from Carrow Road. Coventry looking to try and extend their lead at the top of the table. Norwich looking to move further clear of the relegation zone. Maatsen is back on, but Coventry have it on the far side with Grimes. Infield to find Bobby Thomas, back from what was suspension, though he was also injured at the same time. He may not have played anyway, and there was a doubt as to whether he'd be fit tonight, but he's in the team. And he's watching one of his new teammates, Romain Esse, play the ball out to the Coventry left. De Silva to Kitching. Very patient from Coventry City before Thomas plays a slide pass to the far side. It's swung in, good cross. Oh, Kovacevic had come for it, cleared away by a Norwich player right in front of the Bosnian. And now it's Mason Clark towards De Silva on the Coventry left. Mason Clark, right-footed, hits it straight at Tony Springett. Slimani gets it away momentarily, claims of handball, but no free kick. Grimes, we're still on this near side, the left. De Silva for Coventry. Into the area, Mason Clark lays it off. Victor Torp goes for goal, blocked by a Norwich defender. Esse can't get a shot away. He can the second time, and he finds the net a second time. It's a vicious effort, speared into the bottom corner of the Norwich net between goalkeeper and post. Kovacevic won't be happy with himself, neither will the Norwich defence. Coventry 1, Norwich 0 at Carrow Road. The away fans are a happy bunch.
And once again, it's come down this left-hand side for Coventry. They've had joy time and time again, with Mason Clark in particular. And Norwich were disappointed. They felt that there was a handball in there from a Coventry City player. But I tell you what, the reaction from Esse is excellent, because that first strike, he just tries to shift it and shoot, but he's really quick onto the second ball. And then it's the fierceness of the strike. Yes, he's beaten Kovacevic as a near post, but if you hit it hard enough from 8 yards away, they can't react quick enough, goalkeepers. They cannot. This has got so much vicious pace on it, there's no way a keeper can stop it. It's a brilliant strike from Esse.
A second goal in as many games for Romain Esse in what is only his third appearance. An immediate impact being made by the man on loan from Crystal Palace, the 20-year-old Englishman who's given Coventry the lead. We are top of the league is what's ringing around Carrow Road at the moment from those travelling Coventry City fans. and they deserve their lead?
I think they've edged it. I think they've edged it just in terms of control in the game. It's not really had much flow to it, has it? Because of the amount of free kicks that have been given. Norwich have had their moment without really creating anything. But it was just that was a moment of quality from SA in terms of the strike. It's just rocketed past Kovacevic.
So the away team in front on Talksport 2. That's also the case on Talksport in the Premier League. Everton 0, Leeds 1. James Justin has scored the Leeds goal. Coventry in the ascendancy here as we approach half-time. Just over 5 minutes of the first 45 remaining. Remain SA with the goal, and Norwich will look to try and respond as soon as possible. Not an unfamiliar position to be behind at Carrow Road this season, but coming back from a deficit has been something difficult. Fisher back to McConville, looking around, surveying the scene in front of him to see what options he has, and he decides that a short ball back to Kovacevic is the best of those options, and then the compliment is returned by the Bosnian to McConville. Now Fisher on this near side, down the line for Maatsen, who seems to have recovered from that elbow to the face. Mason Clark, sandwiched between two Norwich players, gets out of trouble along with Jay Da Silva. Here's Thomas Asante to the edge of the box. It goes through the legs of a Norwich player and then collected by Fisher, who can only clear as far as Asante. Short back to Mason Clark on this, the left side. Now time for Grimes. Ball is switched to the right side. Bobby Thomas just outside the area to Van Eyck, touched on by SA. Brilliant touch, right shot, good save by Kovacevic. Wright was on the turn after what was a superb little flick by the goal scorer.
Stunning, wasn't it? Van Eyck had to play that in with pace to get it through the two Norwich City players. SA just killed it with the Cruyff touch into the path of Haji Wright, who just swivelled and struck towards goal with power, but straight at the goalkeeper, who made a decent save just to his left-hand side.
Kovacevic has built a reputation for being a really good shot stopper since his arrival at Carrow Road, and it's he who clears the ball upfield down the Norwich left, the far side from where we are. Headed out of play by Coventry for a Norwich City throw-in. Remain SA's goal divides the two teams as we approach the midway point of this game. Cresceni looking for yellow shirts to throw the ball to, and he goes for Maatsen, and then Maatsen puts it into touch, and Norwich have been rattled, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. They have. You know, they've been on a good run, felt like they've had it their own way, especially against West Brom. Coventry are a top side, and they've struggled to really build any momentum in the game, Norwich. It's just been sporadic attacks that they've had. McCarma's not had much support, to be honest.
Rushworth for Coventry into the Norwich half, calmly headed down by McConville, and now it's with Springer. Back to the Coventry goal, turns on the halfway line, away from Da Silva. Good play by Tony Springer. The ball forward, though, is a bit too strong, though he was fouled in the process, so Norwich get a free kick on their right wing. Springer's lost a boot, which he's got to put back on, and Norwich will have this free kick. Kenny McLean, the captain, in conversation with his manager Philippe Clement, the 51-year-old Belgian, 2.5 months in the job. Formerly of Rangers, he spent 16 months in Glasgow. If you speak to many Rangers fans, they feel that he was the right manager at the wrong time. Is that the way of describing it? He was quite popular in many respects, but it just didn't seem to work out in the long run. So far things have gone well here at Carrow Road for him until tonight, where McLean swings in a cross, headed out by Thomas. They're looking for an equaliser. Ali Ahmed will collect. Last 90 seconds of the first half, in by Ahmed to the back post, headed away by Kitching to this near side, the left. It'll be driven up the line. McLean will collect it, but then it's taken off him by Thomas Asante, who's got a man free on the far side in Haji Wright. He tries to get it across there, but there wasn't enough on it to reach right on the far side, and now Kraseni can come away for Norwich City. Ahmed down the left, beaten to it by Van Ewijk, and it'll dribble out of play for a throw.
Yeah, I thought Thomas Asante didn't really take advantage there. It was a poor mistake from Kenny McLean. I thought really Thomas Asante's got to fancy himself against Kenny McLean in a foot race, and to cut across him, he never really did. Looked up to try and play it to right. It was a poor execution on an attempted cross.
Still Everton 0, Leeds 1 in the Premier League. They're approaching half-time as well. Same scoreline here. Norwich 0, Coventry 1. McConville for Norwich. Just a few seconds left of the first 45 minutes. We'll have a little bit of added time. We've had a couple of breaks for injury as McLean plays it down the right for Fisher. Drives in a low ball, which is touched by a Coventry player. It's not a back pass, but it's collected by Carl Rushworth. And fourth official Sam Allison tells us there'll be 5 minutes of added time.
Yeah, and other than Cordoba striking the base of the post, when they've got into good positions, Norwich City, they haven't found the right option or the right quality on the final ball to create that chance that they've needed.
And they've given it away again on the halfway line. Thomas Asante short to Van Ewijk on the far side. Esse, the goal scorer, back to Van Ewijk. And then there's no rush really from Coventry. You can see this half out quite comfortably. They play it all the way across the penalty area to Liam Kitching, who steps away from Makama, plays it towards his left, where De Silva goes back to the goalkeeper again. There's no urgency needed from Coventry City. They have an advantage to take into the break, barring any slip-ups in the next few minutes. Norwich have won it back with Fisher, but again, can't make it stick inside the Coventry half.
No, they've lost the quality in their build-up play, Norwich. First half of this first half, they've been able to get it into Slimani. He's been able to turn. They haven't been able to get that quality into him to be able to turn and cause problems in behind that Coventry midfield area.
Lifted down the left side by Kitching, headed by McConville to spring it. Surrounded by 3 Coventry players on the halfway line. Norwich forced back to McConville again. We've had almost 2 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. 3 more to come. Kraseni looking down the line for Ahmed, cleared away by Coventry once more. Norwich not able to construct anything of any note, and certainly since Coventry scored the goal, they've looked a little fractured at times, a little bit unstable. Coventry have it with Torp just trotting towards the halfway line. Esse steps away from Slimani, down the line, in it goes. Hadji Wright on the turn at the right angle of the penalty area. Ball squared in. It's in front of Thomas Asante, behind Mason Clark, allowing Springer to get it, but he's given it away. De Silva, edge of the area, lays it off. Asante wants a free kick. Referee is right there to wag a finger to say no free kick, but it's still with Coventry. On this, their left, Torp. Infield to find Grimes. Kitching. Grimes again. Still on this left side. De Silva has it. Just looking to maybe push it at pace, but all De Silva did was give it straight to Makama. Now it's with Fisher, and now McLean, just inside his own penalty area. Clips it delicately infield. It's a good ball as well to find an unmarked Ben Kraseni. Steps across the halfway line, far side from where we are, but it's yet another poor pass.
It is. It was too easy to read, but Van Ewijk has had the beating of Ahmed for most of the game, as has De Silva against Springett. They're 2 issues at the moment. Another issue is Kenny McLean being so deep, almost makes a third centre-back. Just leaves them short again, really, in midfield to try and play through.
He's gone long as well, has McLean. He has found Ali Ahmed on the far side, who lays it infield, 25 yards out. Maatsen shoots towards goal. But it looked like he was hitting that with a spade at his feet, dug into it. Ahmed again on the left, up against Van Ewijk. Norwich throw, which they want to take quickly because they've only got a minute left of added time to try and restore parity at Carrow Road. Trailing by a goal to nil. McLean midway inside the Coventry half, out to the left for Cresceni, down the line to Ahmed, and then via Slimani back to Cresceni. Now McLean lifts it forward, hopefully headed out by Thomas. Norwich will get another throw in, but they're finding it very hard to break Coventry down. And Coventry will make sure they get enough behind the ball here, because there's no need to attack in the final few seconds of the half. Just defend that lead that they have. McLean slid into Slimani. Tries to get the better of the Coventry defence. He's doing his best, and he does. And he finds Ahmed, goes to the dead ball line, cuts it back. Springett was there, but so was a Coventry defender to push the ball away. Good end to the half from Norwich City.
Yeah, fortunate that it fell his way from Slimani, but again, just didn't get his head up, didn't actually pick someone out.
Maatsen now shoots towards goal once more, but it bounces in front of Rushworth, who can go down on one knee and collect it quite easily. And I think that might be the end of this first half. We've had the 5 minutes, and right on cue, referee Thomas Kirk blows his whistle, and it's the Championship leaders who have the advantage at half-time, given to them by their new signing Romain Esse, his second goal in as many games. A shot fired in from a narrow angle inside the penalty area, which beat Vladan Kovacevic at his near post. Coventry having the better chances. Norwich have hit the post. Haji Wright, though, has had a shot saved. Norwich could argue that Coventry should have had Brandon Thomas Asante sent off for what appeared to be an elbow on Pelle Maatsen. But as it is at half-time at Carrow Road, it's Norwich 0, Coventry City 1.
Not a goal between them in terms of expected goals. At Norwich 0.37, Coventry 0.56. Norwich just edging the possession 52%. They've had 9 shots, 2 of those on target. At Coventry, 7 shots, 3 on target officially, according to the stats people. No big chances in the game whatsoever. It has been a fairly tight game, Dean, not as fluid as we would have liked either, but do you believe a deserved lead for Coventry's efforts so far?
I think just about. I think they've edged it in terms of control and territory in the game, and sustained territory as well. Norwich, it's been more a case of trying to counter-attack, and I just think they've got that extra bit of quality. I think if you look player for player, I think Coventry do have that extra bit of quality compared to Norwich, and it did show in that key moment in the game.
Yeah, 2 in 2 for Romain Esse. Looks a great bit of business on loan from Crystal Palace, but should this not have, the whole situation really, rather than the shot, if you like, but the whole situation, the build-up, could it have been dealt with better by the Norwich defence? Yeah,
I think so. It was untidy, wasn't it, defensively, to allow eventually Esse to get that strike away. I think it probably should have been cleared. I think communication's been poor so far from that Norwich defence. A couple of players going for the same ball a couple of times, the keeper and a defender for the same ball a couple of times, and it kind of led to that goal because of it. But I just think, with how fast that was struck, with how quick the ball was going, I know it's the near post. The goalkeeper cannot physically move quick enough to get it. It's past him. It's just so well struck by Esse, and that's why it doesn't matter if you're in that position. That's still an area you've got to look to strike at as a striker, is that near post area if you get enough power.
And he did. It was a great finish from Esse. How do you think Philippe Clement's going to be feeling about that first half performance from Norwich?
I think he'd be frustrated with the sloppiness at times when they have won the ball back, because they've had to work hard to get it back, and when they have, they've kind of gifted it back cheaply too often. And I think Springett in particular, Ahmed, haven't been able to get into the game. I think they've come out second best against Van Eyck and De Silva. So we might look at that and think, is there something we can maybe do after sort of 10 minutes of the second half if it doesn't change?
Do you think it's now about the second goal for Coventry, really? They need to go up a couple of gears, but if they can do it in the first 10, 15 or so minutes of the second half and get that second goal, they can then control the game from there on out.
Yeah, I don't think it feels as if they've probably gambled as many players forward as they could do. They have at times allowed Torp to push forwards, but it's not like Van Eyck or De Silva have particularly gone and tried to join in from the full-back area. I think you're right. I think they've been quite comfortable, I would say, in that first half, but the second goal, I think, would be all important just to give them that cushion and probably kill off Norwich's advances.
We'll see if there will be a response from the home side very shortly. Dean Ashton and Mike Sewell back with you very shortly for the second half at Carrow Road. Just a reminder, over on Talksport at the break, Everton 0, Leeds United 1, thanks to James Justin. A victory would take Leeds 8 points clear of the relegation zone in the top flight and would be the perfect reply really for wins that went to West Ham and Forest this weekend. But at the break with us on Talksport 2, Coventry on the way to extending their lead at the top thanks to Romain Essa. At the break, it is Norwich City 0, Coventry City 1.
People are tuning into radio more than ever. Advertise here and get your message heard by up to 6.5 million switched on listeners every week. Email radio@news.co.uk.
Evening. How's your night shift going? Just a quick check-in from Acorn Insurance, the taxi specialists. We've been by your side for over 40 years, helping new drivers earn a no-claims bonus from day one and accepting up to 9 years no claims from veteran cabbies. That's why we're the largest taxi insurance specialist in the UK. Find out more at acorninsure.co.uk/taxi. Bye for now. Acorn Insurance and Financial Services Limited is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
And yes, we will build the wall.
The ladies not for turning.
It's going to be a U-turn.
It's in the U-turn from Labour.
Zarika about the U-turn.
Times change, but for over 240 years, the Times and Sunday Times have been on the ground, delivering in-depth, trusted reporting, so you can understand what's really going on. Times change. The Times remains.
They say, go big or go home. But now you can go big at home with the Big Arch on delivery. That's right, the Big Arch is back and it's here to stay. Big Arch for big McDonald's hunger. Order in the McDonald's app. Served from 11 a.m. 18 plus. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Upcharges apply to delivery orders. Subject to availability. Price and participation may vary.
Why are you abseiling down the front of your house, Ross? You have a staircase.
I like doing things the hard way, Albert.
Try something easier, Ross. Get cheaper off-peak energy. It's available at different times, like during the day or weekends. Just get a smart meter and choose a flexible scheme or tariff.
Ooh, I could batch cook some quiche.
Perfect. With a smart meter, getting cheaper energy is easier than you think.
Eligibility varies. Action required. Schemes and tariffs available to selected customers.
Your live sports station.
Oh, what a move. This is Talksport 2.
Dare to attend, set for a totally terrific Tuesday night of live League One football on Talksport 2.
Lincoln City versus Bradford City.
Put in the boot on at 7:30. Put in the boot in from 7:45. Stick to it for a Tuesday night of live and exclusive League One football on Talksport 2.
The stars come out to talk on Talksport and Talksport 2.
Please welcome Rob Grimes on Talksport, a station that I'm always surprised at how much I enjoy it. And I go, oh, this is great, isn't it? Look, he's got to sort out his back, isn't he? He's got to sort out the back row.
Massive names.
It's the superstar that is Usain Bolt.
When you score against a great keeper, it feels good.
Blue chip, gilt-edged, AAA rated opinions.
None other than Ronnie O'Sullivan, who is here in the studio with us.
When you read stuff back, you think, oh, did I really say that?
Massive games, massive names on Talksport and Talksport 2.
It's the totally immersive football experience.
Right, put it on! What a goal!
EFL Live
on Talksport 2.
Into the area, Mason Clark lays it off. Victor Torp goes for goal. Blocked by a Norwich defender. SA can't get a shot away. He can the second time, and he finds the net a second time. It's a vicious effort, speared into the bottom corner of the Norwich net.
If you hit it hard enough from 8 yards away, they can't react quick enough, goalkeepers. They cannot. This has got so much vicious pace on it. There's no way a keeper can stop it. It's a brilliant strike from SA.
We are top of the league is what's ringing around Carrow Road at the moment from those travelling Coventry City fans.
And if they can hold on for the next 45 minutes, they'll be 6 points clear at the top of the championship table. Long way to go still. If Norwich City can fight their way back into it and get a victory tonight, they would move 4 points clear of the relegation zone. We'll see if they've got much more to offer us in the second half very, very shortly from Carrow Road. Just a reminder, every Thursday from 5 p.m, by the way, you can tune in to the EFL Fan Network. Dan Fudge is with you here on Talksport 2. He gets all the views and opinions from club-dedicated podcasters. They'll discuss all the big stories surrounding their team. If you missed the live show as well, you can listen back on the Talksport app. It's available as a podcast too, so just search EFL All Access and our feed. And there is also a flurry of transfer window activity happening. The deadline is approaching in a few days' time, 1 week to go, and one signing in the EFL has captured many people's attention. Eduardo Bove was destined for a Serie A career, playing in the Roma first team and scoring the winner in the 2023 Europa League semi-final. That was just 13 months ago. He suffered a cardiac arrest, though, while on loan at Fiorentina. Fortunate to live, he's been fitted with a cardiac defibrillator, an implant that would restart his heart should a similar incident occur again. But such mechanisms are outlawed for professional footballers in Italy. So while returning to the pitch remained a long-term ambition, it wouldn't happen in his homeland. Step forward, though, Watford, who pulled off some coup and fought off other suitors to sign the 23-year-old to a 5-year deal. Now, Watford's assistant sporting director is Valon Bayrami. I'm sure many of you remember him from his West Ham days. He was key to getting the deal over the line and spoke to TalkSport's Ian Abrahams earlier on today.
You've got a player here who would normally be worth 40 or 50 million pounds. He's a really good player. How much are you appreciative of that, and how much do you think he can bring to this football club in terms of getting used to the Premier League?
I think now it's a bit too early, and we have to be patient with the player like Eduardo. He needs his time. He needs, after 1 year out, it's not easy, and especially in this situation. So at the beginning, it's about getting him fit, getting him back, not expecting too much. Even for the player, it doesn't have to expect too much. He can come in and change everything, the dynamic. But there is small stuff, small things that can help a lot, even outside the pitch. And then, the moment he's fit, he's a player that has so many qualities. He can bring us a huge difference in the middle of the pitch. He can aggressive without the ball, good on the timing, when to go into the deep. Can add this so much, but as I said before, we need to have patience at the beginning.
We spoke before about your wife, who's a skier and being injured. And you, as a footballer, would know about injuries as well. But having a problem with your heart and having a cardiac arrest on the pitch is about as serious as it gets. But yet he seems to have come to terms with it.
Yeah, of course, it's completely different condition, but it's amazing to see the passion that he has. Sometimes we, as a player, you give everything for granted. You go, you train, you do something special, but you don't realize. And he actually realized that. Going through that, how lucky we are to be able to play, to work, to play football is something amazing, and sometimes we forget that. And the feeling they gave it to me, and is so happy every day to be on the pitch, and it can be a great lesson for every one of us. Don't give everything for granted, because every day is something special that you are able to do what you love, and especially for a football player, I think everyone should have the same feeling as he has now.
Valon Bayrami there, the assistant sporting director at Watford, after the signing of Eduardo Bove, who will be coming in and hopefully making an impact after leaving Roma. And with the transfer window a few days away from closing, make sure you check out Alex Crook's transfer notebook over on Talksport.com. That'll keep you across all the latest rumours and done deals ahead of the deadline. And before we go back to Carrow Road, a reminder of some of the games we've got coming up for you. Well, we've got kickoff with Adrian Durham tomorrow night on TalkSport. Chris Uwalumo and Dean Holden alongside him. All the goals as they go in from the EFL. As Cardiff face Barnsley, Lincoln take on Bradford as well. Bolton taking on Burton Albion. The Lincoln against Bradford game is going to be live here on TalkSport 2 tomorrow night, 7:45 kickoff. Champions League football on Wednesday night on TalkSport. Paris Saint-Germain will take on Newcastle United, out for revenge after they were robbed last season against the French side. And Napoli take on Chelsea here on Talksport 2 from 8 p.m. But let's head back to Carrow Road. It looks like there could be some changes afoot. Your commentary team of Norwich City 0, Coventry City 1 is the former Norwich striker Dean Ashton and Talksport's Mike Sewell.
Indeed, Hugh. Yes, the two players are kitted up and ready to go. They're warming up at the moment on the pitch in front of us, and those players are Jacob Wright, who Norwich signed from Manchester City, and Papa Diallo, who's just returned from injury. So Wright has been playing, when he has played, either central midfield or as the attacking midfield, the number 10, and Diallo's clearly a winger.
Yeah, I mean, not knowing, I would guess Springett, I think, has been the quietest of the wide players, and you just don't know whether Maatsen, the ankle injury or the facial injury, has meant maybe he has to come out at half time. But clearly he feels that something just needs to change to try and shift the momentum.
Not really surprised, because they started to lose their way towards the end of that first half, Norwich.
And then they just started to get genuine control of the game, Coventry, and look comfortable. And if that allows to continue for the first 10 or 15 minutes of the second half, you would expect Coventry, with how threatening their forwards look, to get the second goal.
Coventry don't look like they're going to make any changes. No need to, really. In fact, I think all 11 of the starters are out on the pitch. Norwich's players are coming back on. Dean is correct. Papa Diallo is replacing Tony Springett out wide, and Jacob Wright, who's receiving some instructions from the Norwich City coaching staff. We'll find out in a split second as to who he's going to replace as I scan around the field. Right again, I mean, that's why we get you on Talksport. Pelle Maatsen's come off.
Oh, nice little win. I promise I didn't know.
Dean Ashton, former Norwich City striker. He left Norwich 20 years ago, almost to the day, and I just said to him off air, I said, does it feel that long ago? And you just nodded. Yeah, it does feel that long ago.
It does.
He headed off to West Ham. Right, second half about to get underway on Talksport 2. Our referee is Thomas Kirk, and he blows his whistle. He refereed the East Anglian derby earlier in the season at Portman Road, did Mr. Kirk. And it's Norwich who get us underway in their yellow shirts, green shorts and canary yellow socks. Coventry in a change strip of dark blue as opposed to sky blue. And Jacob Wright immediately plays a short ball into Rory McConville. Norwich attacking what is known traditionally as the Barclay end, away to our left, which is their preferred end to attack in the second half. And here comes Ali Ahmed into the penalty area. Slimani's in, go round the goalkeeper, and it's there. 32 seconds into the second half, and Norwich have responded. Anis Ben Slimani, a third goal in 3 games for the Tunisian, and already after the restart, Norwich 1, Coventry 1.
Whatever was said worked from Philippe Clement. It's a magnificently worked goal from Norwich City. Cordoba is that starts, who just keeps Asante on his backside as he slides in, and then he fires it down the line to Ali Ahmed, who makes a jinking run and a beautiful pass. The angle, the pace of the pass was inch perfect for Slimani, and then the coolness, so close. He's inside the 6-yard box when he takes it round Rushworth with a lovely bit of footwork, and then just taps it towards goal, behind Kitchen, and into the back of the net.
Jay De Silva did his best to try and clear off the line, but he was sliding in, and all he did was lift it into the roof of the Coventry net. Anis Ben Slimani, a player that many people felt was very much on the periphery this season, has suddenly come to the fore in the space of 3 games.
Yeah, I think fitness plays a part as well. He looks like he's match fit and ready and sharp. It does make a big difference to a player, especially in that position. And that was better for him. If you're going to play the number 10 role, you can't just sit there and get that into feet all the time. You've actually got to run beyond the striker. It was a great run and a beautiful pass from Ahmed.
1-1 then. We did say before the second half started, if Coventry get a second, if they score another goal first, game over, really. But they're very much game on now, because Norwich have scored. This was the scoreline when they met at the CBS Arena earlier in the season, and they're coming forward now. Coventry, Van Ewijk into the penalty area, away to our right. Victor Torp picks it up, no foul as he goes down under a challenge from Slimani, who plays it long down this left side, the near side, as we look for Jovan Makama, who turns away from Bobby Thomas into the area, right-footed shot, blocked by Kitching. He basically spun away from two Coventry players.
Yeah, well, what he did is he just drew in Bobby Thomas just to see if you fancy to try and take me on physically. Makama just says, no, I don't think so. Just moves him out the way, twist, turns, and he was away. And then actually in the end, when he's gone to try and whip it into that far corner, he probably should have faked that and took it past Kitchen as well.
Norwich from this left side send the ball in with Jacob Wright, and it goes out off Thomas's boot for a corner kick. Norwich have been working with Jovan Makama on his attacking play, and they've been using Romelu Lukaku as an example, and you can see some Lukaku-ness in his play now, can't you?
You can, because it's one thing being a strong physical player, it's another thing knowing how to use your body in the right way at the right time when a defender comes towards you.
Corner taken short down this left side, swung in by Ahmed. It's a really high ball to the back post, which drops right under the crossbar into the arms of Carl Rushworth, the Coventry City goalkeeper. Carrow Road is rocking now after that Slimani goal right at the start of the second half. 32 seconds into the second half, and they have it back again, and they're coming forward, and it's Slimani who's got it. He's kept it in play by the dead ball line on this near side, and at the moment Coventry can't get a foot on the ball. Slimani to Ahmed, too long though for the Canadian, but warm applause nonetheless. 25,452 are inside Carrow Road. 1,658 of those have made the trip from the Midlands, the Coventry City fans, and at the moment they're the quiet ones.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've been rocked, haven't they, at the start of this second half, and they haven't quite recovered yet. Norwich trying to really take advantage to get the second goal. Real energy that they've come out in this second half with. It's going to be down to partly the manager to fire them up and bring them out and give them the information they need.
Ball is played into the Norwich half by Coventry. De Silva is there, and I mentioned earlier that Kellen Fisher, even though his slight build doesn't pull out of a challenge, and he put in a really strong sliding tackle to put it out of play for a throw-in. 5 minutes of the second half played. Norwich 1, Coventry 1 on Talksport 2. There's commentary of Everton against Leeds on Talksport. It was 1-0 to Leeds at half-time in that game. It's still 1-0 to Leeds. James Justin with their goal. Van Ewijk right in front of us in the Coventry right back position. Goes back to Thomas. Ahmed has gone down and is banging the floor in pain. And the Norwich fans are wanting the play to be stopped, but of course it's not a head injury. There's no obligation for Coventry to kick the ball out or the referee to blow his whistle. Instead, the visitors have it with Liam Kitching, who did his utmost to try and get to that Slimani effort, which went behind him into the net. He plays it out to the far side to Jay De Silva, back into Kitching again. Norwich pressing forward with numbers, primarily Slimani and Makama in the advanced positions. Kitching plays it long, away by McConville, headed back by Liam Kitching, and then won just inside the Norwich half by Fisher, who is a bit heavy with his challenge on Victor Torp, and so it's a free kick to Coventry. We've only had one yellow card, but we have had a lot of free kicks.
Yeah, it's been a physical game, hasn't it, between the two sets of players. Fair, but physical. And just Coventry, especially Grimes, I think recognising that they just need to calm the game, get a bit of possession, and just defuse the energy that Norwich have come out with.
Norwich came from a goal down against Coventry last season in this fixture, the corresponding fixture, but they scored twice in added time to win the game. It's a complete turnaround, and they've got level here. Play to the halfway line. Van Ewijk gets the better of Ahmed, right by the touchline, right in front of his manager Frank Lampard. Now Torp curls the ball in. It's a great ball, right with a touch. Kovacevic didn't get there, but Kellen Fisher did. He slid in and cleared it off the line as Ephraim Mason-Clark was running in to finish it off.
And that would have been an equally as good a goal for Coventry City, the way it was worked. Victor Torp away and then just curls the ball round Cordoba into Wright's path. Haji Wright just trying to put it through Kovacevic's legs. He does. I think the goalkeeper gets a tiny touch that just takes the edge off. Fisher was there to clear.
The Torp pass reminds me of in snooker. You know in snooker where you hit the edge of the ball to curl it, to curve it right. It was a bit like that. It just wrapped its way around the defender, right into the path of Haji Wright. It's a long throw for Coventry into the Norwich area, punched away by the two fists of Kovacevic. Back out to the far side, collected by Grimes. Jay De Silva is the deepest lying Coventry player, but Makama has blocked his clearance and he's picked it up on the far side. The Norwich fans get off their seats. Makama goes down the right side. He's going to cross it in low. It doesn't reach Diallo. De Silva makes up for his initial mistake and can clear up the line. But a worrying moment for Coventry, who still haven't got the ball away, because Norwich have now got it on the near side with Ali Ahmed. Kruseni goes around the outside. On this, the Norwich left. Ahmed outside of the right boot. Headed away by a Coventry player. Miscontrolled by someone in yellow. And then Grimes decides, let's hit it long for Thomas Asante. This game is like a pendulum, swinging from one end to the other at the moment, as Cordoba just uses his body to shoulder barge Thomas Asante, but the second time he went in, he fouled him.
Yeah, he just tried to win that when it wasn't there the second time. Thomas Asante was excellent in the way that he just jumped up quickly and played that away, and then it was just a little pull from Cordoba.
Still Everton 0, Leeds 1 in the Premier League. Commentary tomorrow night on Talksport 2. Lincoln Bradford from League 1. Kick-off with Adrian Durham is on Talksport with all the goals as they go in from the EFL. Coventry have a free kick out towards the right. It's about 10 yards in from the touchline and just a few yards shy of the dead ball line. Good position from which to cross down this right side. Torp raises his left arm, right-footed, swings it low to the near post, headed on and headed onto the crossbar by Mason-Clark, who a moment ago was denied by Fisher, sliding in on the line, and there his rising header comes crashing back off the frame of the goal as Coventry go long, and it's in the arms of Kovacevic, and there's no time to take a breath because Norwich are coming forward now, and from a long way out Slimani saw that Rushworth was off his line. But take us back to the header from Mason-Clark.
Yeah, well, it was a well-worked free kick, wasn't it? In towards that near-post area. The flick-on was there. It came at Mason-Clark quickly. And I think he'll be disappointed he's not put that underneath the bar and into the back of the net. But he had to stretch his neck because of the deflection from his own teammate to try and head that in. But still, when you're 3 or 4 yards out, you've got to head it into the goal.
This was the kind of game we were expecting at the beginning. We didn't get it in the first half, but it's been fascinating in the first 11 of the second.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit too much respect given to Coventry by Norwich in that first half. This second half, every single touch that a Coventry player makes has to be perfect because they've got pressure on them. So they're higher up the pitch, more pressure from Norwich, entertaining game because of it.
It's with Jacob Wright, one of Norwich's 2 substitutes who came on at the start of the second half. Plays it in, almost finds Ahmed with the ball down the left, but he does play it short to Kruseni now. Back in field to Wright, and now centre field with Kenny McLean inside the Coventry half. McLean steps forward to the D, goes for the return from Makama, claims of handball. I'm not sure by who, possibly even McLean. Nothing given. Kruseni goes down the left channel to find Ahmed. Back to the angle of the penalty area in. Lovely football from Norwich, although Slimani's final pass is slightly wayward. They'll get another chance to build, though, down the left. Ahmed slides it in. Slimani, left foot cross. Doesn't quite reach Diallo. Here's Kruseni. Strikes it in. He scored against West Brom. and he wins a corner here.
Yeah, they've done really well in terms of winning those second balls, as that's been cleared 3 or 4 times in this second half now by Coventry. It's Norwich who have won the ball back straight away. It gains momentum. It means you can pin them in. They've done that very, very well, and they're getting the rewards because of it.
Ahmed has come across to the near side, the Norwich left to take it. He'll swing it in right-footed. Makama, as ever, is causing problems in front of Rushworth, who's been protected by Thomas Asante. Low ball to the near post, flicked on by McLean. Then it hits Cresceni, collected by Ahmed. Plays it back into the penalty area. Stooping to head away was Haji Wright. And eventually, Esse wins the goal kick off Ahmed's boot. I wonder whether Frank Lampard... Oh, I'll just look down now and I can see Josh Eccles is about to come on. I was about to say, I wonder if Frank Lampard's going to make a change.
Well, probably just feels like the momentum shifted, and actually, tactically, with Jacob Wright coming on, he's gone more forwards, and actually it's more of a 2 10s with Wright and Slimani at times when they're looking to press. So maybe just wants to change things in that midfield area.
Of course, Frank Lampard's name has been mentioned when it comes to the Crystal Palace job that's going to become available at the end of the season. Oliver Glasner said he's going to be leaving Palace, and given how well Lampard has done at Coventry, given his links to London and the Premier League in Chelsea and Everton, there is that feeling that he could be an obvious choice, but there's a long time between now and the summer. So many things could change. Coventry, though, have ambitions to be back in the Premier League after what's been a very long time out of it. Esse down the right side with Haji Wright. Forced to go back down the line on the near side to Grimes. Cresceni cuts out the pass, and the referee's assistant flags for a free kick. The referee just overrules him, and Norwich have possession. Ahmed down the left channel. Makama puts pressure on Kitching. It's gone back to Rushworth, who plays it along the floor to Grimes, but the flag had gone up for an offside against Jovan Makama. You don't see that often. Lampard is having a pop at the fourth official. You don't see referees overrule their assistants that quickly and that confidently.
Well, he was just trying to let the play go. I think the assistant felt there was a foul, but Norwich had a promising attack, so the referee did the right thing there, Thomas Kirk, to try and let the game go and take the advantage of that.
Right for Norwich. We've got 2 rights on the pitch, Jacob Wright and Haji Wright. Jacob plays it into Ahmed, just about gets it back to the former Manchester City midfielder. Now McLean, left-footed in the centre circle, often likes to spray long balls out to the far side, and we saw him score from the halfway line for Scotland in that memorable game against Denmark that got Scotland to the World Cup. Hasn't scored for Norwich for a long time though, Kenny McLean. Almost 2 years now since McLean found the net for his club. Here's Cordoba, left-footed into Cresceni. Cresceni gets the better of Esse, but not Van Eyck. No foul either, but he's going to chase him down anyway, and then it's Cresceni who fouls his opponent, and we now have a chance to make the substitutions. It's going to be a double substitution by Frank Lampard. The goal scorer for Coventry, Romain Esse, is going to come off to be replaced by Tatsu Sakamoto, and Josh Eccles is the other player who's going to come on, and he's going to replace Brandon Thomas Asante, who gets boos from the Norwich fans because they would have seen what we saw off the ball in the first half, where he struck Pelle Madsen in the face with an elbow, but there was no punishment by the referee or the officials because they clearly didn't see anything.
I just wonder whether Eccles will... he has gone into the 10 role. I thought maybe Torp might go there and he would go alongside Grimes, but he's gone higher up alongside Haji Wright for now.
17 minutes played in the second half at Carrow Road. Norwich 1, Coventry 1 in the Championship, live on Talksport 2. Carl Rushworth, the Coventry goalkeeper, goes straight down the middle. Wright is after it. McConville scoops it out into touch on the near side for a Coventry City throw-in. Of course, Premier League football taking place as well, and Leeds are still holding that lead away at Everton at Hill Dickinson Stadium. Be a big result for Leeds United. They haven't got a great away record, but they've done really well at home.
Well, I mean, their record since the game against Manchester City has been remarkable.
Coventry's throw-in from Van Ewijk goes into the area of Norwich, but Makama has shrugged off his marker, and Norwich have a man over here, and that man over is Papa Diallo. He's forced slightly wide on the right side. He crosses back in. Makama can't get there. Ahmed can, but he can't keep it in play. And if Jovan Makama had been able to play it straighter and into the path of Diallo, he would have been in on goal.
Yeah, I mean, that was the issue. Just that bit of quality needed at that vital moment from Makama, and Diallo would have been in 1v1. But he just overhit the pass. He doesn't need to. It's not a difficult pass. It means Diallo goes wide, and then when he plays it in, actually it was there for the overhead kick for Makama, who didn't take it on, and Ahmad with a poor touch.
Coventry goal kick, which Rushworth hits right down the middle again towards Haji Wright. Header won by Sakamoto. Torp back to Japanese. Sakamoto again, he turns away from Ahmed. Goes down under a challenge from Griseni, no foul. Grimes now in central midfield, out to De Silva. Approaching the 20-minute mark in the second half, where it's all square at 1-1. Flicked on by Eccles, the substitute, but he had misjudged the situation. Jay De Silva was nowhere near the ball, and it trickles out harmlessly for a Norwich City throw-in. Much tighter in this second half than in the first, in terms of...
Yeah, they've made a game of it, haven't they, Norwich? They've, I think they've met the physical standards that Coventry set in the first half, and they've just made life difficult for them, and they picked up the second balls. It's, you know, we're not talking about anything too difficult. It's just hard work, effort, organisation, and they've had much more of it in this second half.
Norwich are going to make a double substitution in a moment. They're going to bring on two teenagers, Oscar Schwartau and Harry Amas. Amas only just signed on loan from Manchester United, but has been playing regularly this season. He was at Sheffield Wednesday for the first half of the season, and despite their troubles, he was a shining light in that team. And he's going to come on along with Schwartau in a few moments' time once the ball goes out. Griseni trying to get the ball away from the left-back position. McLean goes down under pressure from Sakamoto, who has it on the right edge of the area. Still Sakamoto drives it in left-footed, far too strong for Mason Clark, and it goes out on the far side for a goal kick. And now the substitutions can be made by Norwich City. Be intrigued to see who comes off here. I assume Griseni will come off, and Amas will replace him at left-back. Schwartau, possibly Slimani, could even come on for Ahmed.
Yeah, Slimani's just taken a gel from the sides to give him a boost. I wonder whether he's quite ready for the full 90 minutes, Slimani.
You probably feel he is, having also scored. Coventry, though, trying to come forward. Fisher steps in to take it off the toes of Mason Clark, and now Slimani down the middle, but again the pass is too strong. Promise comes to nothing. Van Ewijk forward for Josh Eccles, who's fouled by Jacob Wright, and it'll be a free kick for Coventry. The two Norwich players who are going to come on have now put orange bibs over their shirts, so Philippe Clement clearly waiting for the right moment. We're almost at the midway point of the second half. Oh, mistake by Kitching. Picked off by Makama. Now Slimani down centre field, just outside the box, lays it off to Diallo, squared in. Here comes Ahmed. Ali Ahmed scores again, as he did against West Brom in what was his second appearance. He has turned the game around now. A mistake by Liam Kitching means that it's Norwich 2, Coventry 1.
Self-inflicted pain for Coventry City. Kitchen, I mean, play players now just wanted to try and put their foot on top of the ball. It got away from him. McCarmer stepped in, and then it's about, can you make the right decisions? Can you pick the right pass? And Norwich do. Slimani it was that took the ball on. He could have played it to McCarmer. He didn't. He delayed, allowed Diallo to get back, and it's a brilliant cutback. He spots Khalid Ahmed behind his defender, so he plays it right to his feet. And then it's just about, can he beat the player and the goalkeeper, who are both on the line? And he does. He just gets a firm side foot past McCarmer and the Coventry defender and goalkeeper. They've deserved it the second half, Norwich.
3 months ago, they wouldn't have done this. Complete transformation since the arrival of Philippe Clement means that Norwich are now 2-1 up against the Championship leaders. Now, this result will go down well in Middlesbrough and, dare I say, Ipswich. They won't want to see Norwich leading, but it's going to do Ipswich a favour if they beat Coventry.
Well, it would. And again, it would maybe just show that there are bigger cracks starting to form in this Coventry City promotion push.
5 games away from home in the league without a win before tonight. Could it be 6? At the moment, it looks that way for Coventry City. As for Norwich, they've won 4 of their last 6 league games before tonight. They had 9 points when Philippe Clement came in the middle of November. At the moment, they have 33 in this game. Fisher down the right for Norwich, far side. Their tails are up, they're wagging, and they're heading forward with Papa Diallo to the edge of the area. Slimani was trying to be clever. I think he was trying to flick the ball through to McCarmer. It didn't pay off, and Coventry play it back to Rushworth on the edge of his 6-yard area. Out to the far side, straight into touch, as the big cheers from the Norwich fans will tell you. Have they brought those players on yet? No, they still haven't. They've gone and sat down again. Oh, there they are. They're warming up, Spartau and Hamas.
It wouldn't have surprised me if certainly Slimani or Ahmed, one of the players, going to come off, and how do you?
In the meantime, though, right into the area here for Coventry. Tight angle, saved by Kovacevic at his near post. That's aside from the header, actually, from Mason Clark, which hit the bar, that's the best chance we've seen from Coventry in a while.
Yeah, and when he really does turn on that acceleration, Hadji Wright, not many can stay with him. Gets away from cornerback, it's a tight angle, does the right thing, trying to go for power, low, might just go through the goalkeeper's legs. Not Kovacevic, he made sure that he got that right boot out to put it behind.
20 minutes left, Norwich lead 2-1. Coventry corner, swung in left-footed, headed out by Papa Diallo, whose fresh legs are taking him all the way to the touchline. He nearly gets onto his own clearance. It's still Everton 0, Leeds 1 at Hill Dickinson Stadium. James Justin with a first half goal there, as we see a double substitution from Coventry. Frank Lampard's reacting to going behind. Off comes Hadji Wright to be replaced by Ellis Sims. And the other player coming on is another of the new signings for his debut. Coming on for Efron Mason Clark is Yang Min Hyuk, the 19-year-old Korea international on loan from Tottenham. This is his 3rd loan spell in the last 12 months. He was at QPR this time last year and Portsmouth since then. And he's come on in another double change from Frank Lampard, who's taken his seat on the bench, arms folded, serious looking face for the man who won everything that there is to win for Chelsea when he was a player. Can he win promotion as coach at Coventry? Yang, left edge of the area. Torp keeps it alive. Coventry attacking. Grimes, great delivery towards the back post, and Sakamoto couldn't get there, but Coventry win a corner.
Teasing delivery, wasn't it, from Matt Grimes? Made it so difficult for McConville, but he did really well to steer the header actually away from Sakamoto, just enough on it so Sakamoto couldn't stoop and head it in at the back post. Good defending.
Norwich fans in full voice as Coventry have this right wing corner, which will be swung in left-footed. High towards the back post. Kovacevic won't get there. Headed away by a Norwich defender, then volleyed towards goal. But right underneath it was Victor Torp, and it just spins with a lot of backspin and lands on the roof of the net.
Well, it's nice to have the option, isn't it, for Frank Lampard to take your whole front four off and add a fresh front four with the quality that he's been able to, because I don't think he would have seen how this second half would have gone. I think he felt his team would have been in control, and they're certainly not.
Norwich's response since half-time is exactly what was needed. Cresceni under pressure from Sakamoto, and Sakamoto initially got the ball, but Cresceni wasn't going to allow it, and then a flailing arm catches Sakamoto in the face, and there's cries of handball. Nothing given. Back to Rushworth. 17 minutes of the second half left. This second half has absolutely flown by.
It's been excellent, hasn't it? It's been terrific game of Championship football, and Coventry have got a lot of work to do. It's always difficult, isn't it, when you wait the whole weekend to play, you see what your rivals are doing, and then you have to go out and deliver.
And so far, it's Norwich who are delivering and looking for another victory. Having beaten Wrexham away and West Brom away last week, they could well beat the league leaders here, and it will put them in good stead for the weekend, because they're away at Middlesbrough, who are second. So they seem to be enjoying playing against the teams away from home or at the top of the table, and they're now making the change that we thought was coming earlier. Harry Amas is going to come on for Ali Ahmed, who's put in a shift as Ahmed, and he's scored what could be the decisive goal.
Yeah, he's had an excellent game. He came out second best in the first half to Van Eerbeek. Come out second half, he stuck to it. He's been a threat, and he's got himself a goal.
So a debut for 18-year-old Harry Amas on loan from Manchester United, going out to the left-hand side. Well, actually, he's dropped in towards the right side of midfield, known as a left-back. I'm not quite sure what Norwich are doing here, because Cresceni's still on the pitch. Seems to be that he's in the right wing position at the moment, and it's headed out towards that side. Kitching, whose mistake led to Norwich's second goal, plays it back to Rushworth. 15 minutes remaining on Talksport 2, where it's Norwich 2, Coventry 1 in the Championship. Down goes Kenny McLean, wins the free kick. Frustrations are showing now in the Coventry players.
Yeah, all those 50-50s that I think Coventry got the better of in the first half, Norwich have in the second. Again, as you talk about fight, desire, those things that should just come naturally, well, they didn't for Norwich for so much of the season. They do now. These players seriously are working for their manager.
Diallo on the left, he's twisting and turning his way around Van Eerbeek. He finds Wright down this near side. Cresceni in from the touchline, back to Slimani. Jacob Wright from the edge of the area. Oh, and Slimani hadn't gone far enough forward to meet the return ball, and it's harmlessly out for a goal kick. Everton have equalised at home to Leeds. Tierno Barry has got the equalising goal. That game kicked off at 8 o'clock as well. James Justin had given Leeds the lead. Everton 1, Leeds 1 at Hill Dickinson Stadium. Norwich 2, Coventry 1 at Carrow Road, as it's played long by Rushworth up towards Yang, the Korean. Played back by Eccles into Matt Grimes, the Coventry captain. Now Kitching inside his own half, having to rebuild from inside their own territory here, Coventry City. They're away at QPR at the weekend in their next fixture. Torp up towards Ellis Sims. Haven't really seen him on the ball as yet, but he's trying to make it problematic for Jose Cordoba. Left-footed, the Panamanian clears up to the halfway line. Offside against Makama. Free kick to Coventry.
Yeah, he's just looking a little fatigued, Makama. I think because obviously Josh Sargent's out of the pitch, he's played a lot of football recently, Makama. leading the line on his own. A lot of physical work needed up there. Just looking a little fatigued.
Anis Ben Slimani, who scored the first goal, is now coming off to warm applause, and in many parts of Carrow Road a standing ovation, and he's replaced by Oscar Schwartau, who will drop into that number 10 role. So the 2 goal scorers for Norwich are off. In fact, all 3 goal scorers tonight are now off the pitch, with 13 minutes or so remaining plus stoppage time. You do wonder, with this standoff involving Josh Sargent and the Norwich hierarchy, whether they might have a bit of an issue if they don't get another striker in.
Well,
it puts a lot on the shoulders of Makama. In the meantime, Diallo has robbed Thomas of the ball to the edge of the area. Diallo! It's a really poor finish from a very good position, and he did have other options around him.
What a shame, because Makama made a great run. He could have played him in, but he actually used that run of taking the defenders away to open up for the shot. Really poor effort. Cut across it, no power. Disappointing from Diallo.
Sakamoto for Coventry. Down there, right wing, which is the near side from us. Infield to Grimes, just inside the Norwich half. Squared for Kitching. It's a bit of a strong pass, which Kitching has to race across to get there before Amas. And now Yang, who loses out to McLean. Infield to the fresh-legged Svartau. Runs with it. Beaten, though, by Thomas. Eccles for Coventry. To the right side, Sakamoto heading towards the penalty area. Cresceni watching closely. Sakamoto onto his left foot. Shot is blocked. The Norwich defence does its job. Back it comes again, though. Bobby Thomas. Right-footed delivery, which Cordoba stretches out a left leg to put into touch for a throw-in.
Yeah, Sakamoto, excellent change of direction away from Cresceni. But then he needed to shoot early. It opened up, so shoot. Instead, he took 2 more touches and got crowded out.
Milan van Ewijk is going to take the throw for Coventry, in line with the edge of the penalty area, deep inside the Norwich half. Launches it in. It's a really good throw right into the penalty area, headed up, volleyed away by Fisher, collected by Sakamoto. Now Van Ewijk, 25 yards out, prods it to the right for Sakamoto. Up against Cresceni again, round the outside this time. Then he cuts inside, left-footed cross, headed towards goal, but Kovacevic's presence put off the attacker. I'm not sure who it is. They're flat out on their front at the moment. 1 or 2 Coventry players were claiming a foul.
Well, I think it's Eccles who goes in towards the near post. Sakamoto with a great ball in, and he gets there before Kovacevic, who pats him on the face. Doesn't punch, it's more of a pat as he was trying to get the ball. You're never going to get a penalty for that, of course.
The applause you're hearing at the moment are for a very dedicated Norwich City fan who lost their life here at the stadium recently. 80-year-old Jim Davis, who I have to mention was my coach for my Saturday team when I was a teenager, and he was a die-hard Norwich fan, terrific man, incredibly passionate about football, about his family. And there was a really nice touch by Philippe Clement before kick-off tonight, where he took a Norwich City scarf, walked into the stand to meet the Davis family, and he laid a scarf on Jim Davis's season ticket seat. And those applause are for him. And there's a picture of him and the family at the moment. And we're actually getting replay of those pictures from earlier on, where Philippe Clement met the Davis family. Really nice touch. And sad, though, that Jim lost his life. It remains Norwich 2, Coventry 1. 8.5 minutes left of this game, and a Norwich City substitution is taking place. Ben Cresceni off, Jack Stacey on. So it looks like Kellen Fisher's going to drop into the left-back position, and Stacey goes over to the right, so Amas stays in right midfield. Big hug from the Belgian for his left-back Cresceni, who, like anyone in that yellow shirt tonight, has worked really hard. Coventry haven't got long here to get an equaliser, Dean Ashton.
No, they haven't, and he's made his substitution, so they've not really made a difference yet. You can't say that they've got into the game. Sakamoto, probably the best of the bunch. but maybe they see Harry Amass, who's, like you say, stayed on that right-hand side, maybe they see him more as an attacking player than a fullback.
Stacey gets his first touch, and then Jacob Wright launches it long down the far side, which is the Norwich right. Jacob Wright goes in again with a header. Makama, Schwartau, they're trying to get the ball down to feet. Eventually they do, and it's with Stacey on the halfway line. Down to Amass. Now McConville. Complete contrast to the first half, where Coventry were quite happy just to knock the ball around to get to half-time with an advantage. Now it's Norwich with the lead, who want to get to full-time and take all 3 points. They will have earned 24 points under Philippe Clement in 14 league games. They only got 9 in 15 under Liam Manning at the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been incredible what he's been able to do. And of course the club are trying to back him the best they can in this transfer window. I think more than anything, not only to help keep Norwich City up and drive up the table, but maybe to say to him, we want you to stay here longer. They know what a great manager they've got.
Well, it was considered a bit of a coup to get him in the position that Norwich were.
Yeah.
But he said on his first press conference that he was impressed with Norwich's honesty about the situation. And clearly there must have been a financial encouragement as well, but he's done a remarkable job. And some fans are even talking about top 6. Get carried away at the moment, but just get out of the relegation zone and away from danger is the most important thing for Norwich City. But Coventry City need an equaliser. Van Ewijk with a throw. Fisher heads it out near the corner flag. It will be a throw in though for Coventry City. Time is ticking away. Van Ewijk will have another go at launching one from this right side.
I mean, Norwich have got to be switched on because of the quality that Coventry still have on the pitch. You can't think that just because they're not gaining momentum, they're not going to hurt you.
In it comes again from the Dutchman, headed out again by Norwich. A third throw-in a row. And they are trying to apply pressure. This time Van Ewijk goes short to Sakamoto, who gets it back. Sakamoto sends in the cross. It's spinning into the area as it strikes the boot of a Norwich player. Now Amass alongside Yang, 2 teenagers. Amass ends up over the hoardings. Coventry have it down the left with the Korean. Under pressure though from Jack Stacey, who wins it fairly. And he pumps it down towards Makama, but he was shifting and looking the other way and didn't see the ball coming. Coventry have it again. Certainly not over yet here at Carrow Road. 5 minutes plus stoppage time remaining at Hill Dickinson Stadium. It remains Everton 1, Leeds 1 in the Premier League. Van Ewijk into the area. Cross comes McConville, who slides and clears, but about a yard past the post.
Yeah, terrific bit of play. Ball into Sakamoto. First time outside of the left foot, poke in towards Van Ewijk, who then flashes it across. Dangerous ball. McConville in front of Sims, so important.
Corner kick to Coventry City, away to our right on this near side. Driven in left-footed to the edge of the 6-yard area. Glancing header by Cordoba. Will go out for a throw-in. Over on the far side of the field now. If it stays this way, Norwich will be up to 18th in the table. That's 4 places above the relegation zone and 4 points clear of the bottom 3. Remarkable to think that they were really struggling. They weren't that far ahead of Sheffield Wednesday, who have a minus points. Long ball in again from that far side, headed up by Thomas. Norwich trying to clear. They do eventually through Kenny McLean. It's held up really well by Makama, who sends it down the right. But as you said, his legs are looking tired.
Yeah, and he's on his own. So it's difficult. They're just pumping the ball up towards him, hoping he gets hold of it and wins his team something. But you're right, looking fatigued, but put a shift in, that's for sure.
Coventry took the lead in the 38th minute through a Romain essay. Norwich equalised inside 32 seconds of the restart through Anis Ben Slimani, and Ali Ahmed, midway through the second half, put Norwich in front, and it's a lead they still hold. Coventry launch it long, down the far side their left, towards Ellis Sims. McConville, who's been almost faultless tonight, heads it out for a throw-in. Coventry have now got some urgency, some anxiety about them, because they've got 2.5 minutes plus added time to come up with an equaliser. Yang is fallen loose though, and Norwich have it. Right in the centre circle, not many options ahead of him, so he's gone to the near side of the left and found Diallo, who provided the cross for the second goal. Fisher back to Jacob Wright, just inside his own half on the Norwich left. Now Cordoba, they've switched play to the far side now with McConville. Be intriguing to see how many added minutes we'll have. We'll find out in a couple of minutes' time. But it remains 2-1 to the Canaries.
Definitely expected a little bit more urgency from Coventry. A bit more pressing needed to stop Norwich just having possession.
Van Eyck, though, for down the right for Coventry. Goes down under a challenge. He's clutching his left foot. No foul, according to the referee. So play continues. Makama on the halfway line. He's got support to the right. He can't get it there directly, so indirectly via McConville it finds Jack Stacey. Van Eyck is still down at the other end of the field, so Coventry effectively down to 10 men at the moment. Cleared away by Grimes. McConville misses the header. Cordoba tidies up behind him. Van Eyck is trying to get to his feet. He's really struggling at the moment, so he wasn't feigning injury, that's for sure. And he's limping his way back towards the halfway line. Fisher for Norwich to the edge of the Coventry area. Makama on the turn. He slips, eventually gets the shot, but he was never set, and he hooks it into the stand behind the goal, and it will give Milan Van Eyck the chance to get some treatment, because he's definitely hurt.
Yeah, ball into him. We've seen this type of goal before by Makama, trying to swivel, use that physicality to turn and shoot. But again, it looked a tired effort as he fell away and scooped the ball up and over the crossbar.
We're going to find out in about 20 seconds' time how much added time there'll be. Milan Van Eyck is going to have to soldier on, Dean.
Yeah. Look, it's unfortunate, but he's trying to get that ankle move. I think it was a slight twist of the ankle. They're just saying, can he get back into position at least?
Well, he can't. He can barely walk, let alone run. There's nothing that Coventry can do, because they've used up their substitutes, and we're going to have 6 minutes of added time. Long ball forward. Norwich lead 2-1. Diallo, one of the Norwich substitutes. Van Eyck is still hobbling, but he's doing his best. He's now going to have to try and keep tabs on Diallo. To his credit, he's got there, and he's won the ball. And he's recovered from his ankle problem, or at least...
Funny that, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
When you need to suddenly defend and sprint.
Now a long ball forward by Coventry, cut out by Cordoba. Eccles. Are Coventry heading for a defeat? Is it going to be 6 away games in a row without a win in the league for the Championship leaders? It's going to do a massive favour to the likes of Middlesbrough and Ipswich, but Coventry are heading into the penalty area now. Hooked away by McConville. Fisher and Kitching are going head to head. No, actually it's Eccles, sorry, and Fisher going head to head, disputing what Fisher thought was a foul. So we're into the 2nd minute of added time. Coventry will remain 3 points clear of Middlesbrough, having played the same number of games. They've got a vastly better goal difference than Borough. And then Ipswich in 3rd place with a game in hand are a further 5 points behind, as the referee, Thomas Kirk, is coming across to the near side to give a yellow card to the Norwich City head coach, Philippe Clement. He was motioning that I think Kellen Fisher was fouled.
Again off the ball, Kellen Fisher pushes Sakamoto in the back. Sakamoto turns round and throws an arm at the throat of Kellen Fisher. Again, we haven't got VAR in the Championship, and so many people are happy for that, but I think he'd have been sent off.
Well, in the first half, Brandon Thomas Asante escaped what would have surely been a red card for elbowing Pelle Matson in the face, but again, it wasn't spotted by the officials. But it'll make no difference to Norwich if they can hold on to this and get a victory against Coventry. And that long run of games without being beaten by the Sky Blues will keep going. It's already 17 years since Coventry last beat Norwich in any competition. Fisher goes down. It's getting a bit tasty down there on the touchline as Coventry come forward. Have they got an equaliser in them? Grimes down centre field, out to the left to find De Silva. Cuts in on his right foot, sends the ball in low. McConville clears, only as far as Yang. Back out to De Silva, clips in the cross, headed by Ellis Sims, but he just couldn't get away from his marker and head the ball down.
Yeah, he did really well, Jay De Silva, to dig that cross out, to give Sims a chance to go up with Cordoba, but Fisher was there as well. They didn't allow him to get high enough with the pressure on him, so therefore he couldn't guide the header downwards. That was always going to go up and off the top of his head.
Coventry might be top of the table, but Norwich on form should be in the top 6.
Well, those fans that keep stopping me in the street and asking me about playoffs, they're not going to stop.
Certainly after this, if they beat Coventry City. Frank Lampard cuts a very frustrated figure. Long ball forward for Coventry, headed away by Cordoba. Van Ewijk. Suddenly that injury is all gone and he's got the ball down the right side, deep in Norwich territory. We've got 2 and a bit minutes left. Played in by Sakamoto, flicked on and over the bar and onto the roof of the net by Bobby Thomas. And it's just going to eat away at more time.
They've not been able to create the clear-cut chances. Mason Clark should score, obviously, with the header. They hit the crossbar. But other than that, it's not as if Kovacevic has had to make save after save. They've just not done enough to create chances.
The pivotal moment in this game, obviously the Slimani goal right at the start of the second half.
Well, it genuinely rocked Coventry, and it took them a while to recover, and it just gave Norwich the boost they needed, and the energy they've shown in the second half will look favourable towards the manager.
90 seconds of added time left. Norwich have put it out for a throw. Coventry have very little time left to come up with a saving goal, a goal that would save them a point. It would increase their lead at the top of the table, but hasn't really been any sign of it. They hit the crossbar early in the second half through Mason Clark. Wright had a shot which was saved at the near post by Kovacevic. But it's not over yet. It's swung out by Torp to this near side, the right. Sakamoto. They've all gone forward now. Thomas is in the area. Here's Sakamoto from the left edge of the box. The cross is deep. It's kept in play. De Silva hooks it in. Thomas is there. Fisher clears with his head. It's all rather desperate. Still Coventry attack. And that's a foul, is it? By Fisher on Sakamoto. Right on the corner of the penalty area. A free kick which will almost certainly be the last action of the game.
Yeah, just that bravery, I guess, from Fisher to want to get there with his head. Sakamoto got there first, got backed in, and he just whacked into his shoulders to give that free kick away. But Sakamoto's not going to have a go from here, so it looks like Torp's going to clip this one in.
It's about 2 yards outside the penalty area, right at the right-hand angle, and we're watching it away to our right. Shrill whistles begin from the Norwich City fans. We've had 6 minutes of added time. This might be Coventry's last chance to get an equaliser. Even Carl Rushworth has come forward for this. In comes the cross low, headed out by a Norwich player. The referee takes a look at his watch. There's no one in the Coventry goal. But the referee has decided it's all over. There's a huge collective cheer around Carrow Road from the majority of the 25,500 in here as the Fratelli starts, and Norwich City have got a victory against Coventry City. They fell behind to a Romain Esse goal shortly before half-time. At that stage, Coventry had pretty much a modicum of control of the game, but it was Anis Ben Slimani's strike right at the start of the second half which turned the game around, and Ali Ahmed got the second, which proved to be the decisive goal. There's a scuffle in the middle at the moment. Philippe Clement has gone in to calm it all down. Ben Cresceni was involved. The two sets of players have been split. Tensions running high, frustrations running high amongst the Coventry players. But for Norwich, it's another win, and they are up to 18th in the table. They're now 4 points clear of the relegation zone. Coventry remain 3 points clear at the top of the table. Your assessment, Dean Ashton?
Well, it just shows, doesn't it, that they gave Coventry too much respect in the first half. Second half, they got at them, they didn't give them time, they really tested them. That early goal in the second half was everything they needed. But I tell you what, commitment, character, bravery in the way that they played, Norwich City shows just what a turnaround Philippe Clement has given this club.
It's a remarkable turnaround. It's finished Norwich 2, Coventry 1.
The Canaries take flight. 6 wins in 9 championship games moves Norwich 4 points clear of the drop zone and up to 18th. Coventry stay top. They're 3 points clear of Middlesbrough, 8 clear of Ipswich, who have a game in hand. But that will feel like a blow, having led the game at half-time. It is just amazing to feel the difference inside Carrow Road compared to when Philippe Clement arrived to the club. He's done an incredible job, and a night like this, a result like this, was unthinkable just a few months ago. I asked you, Dean Ashton, if it was a deserved lead for Coventry at the break. Is it a deserved win for Norwich City at full time?
You'd have to say so. I think that second half performance was outstanding from every player. They needed the commitment side of things just to get up and at Coventry, to unsettle things, and they did that. And then they actually showed some really good quality with the goals that they scored, and defended properly as well when they needed to. And actually, it didn't really look like Coventry were going to get the equaliser in the end, which I think says everything about how comfortable Norwich felt.
For me, and I hate to say it, but it's they've done well. The likes of Ellis Sims, the likes of Hadji Wright. Are there true killers in that forward line for Coventry City when you're trying to get into the Premier League? You think this week, if they had the opportunity to bring in a number 9 or another forward, someone who would score them goals, that they would do it. Because on a night like this is when you need a special player who can get you a goal. And you look at some of the teams behind them right now and the number of goals that they're scoring, and you think they'll end up closing the gap on Coventry sooner rather than later, unless they can get back to scoring goals more regularly.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like that, but I think tonight felt more about the control of the game, allowing that control to drift away and actually not being able to get it back at all. You know, you're expecting, okay, Norwich City go 2-1 up, but you're thinking top of the league, you're able to make 4 changes to the forward line, change everybody. You're thinking, right, here we go, here it comes. Norwich are probably expecting a really, really tough end to the game, and it never really materialised. No. It didn't feel as if they felt the urgency to at least take a draw.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean by it. Will it damage them? Do you think they've had to respond, funnily enough, over the festive period to a number of results that haven't gone their way, and they come back, they chip away with a couple of wins here or there. Whether that's going to be enough long term, I don't know, but do you see this as a damaging defeat?
I think it's just been a damaging run, just in terms of that away form, as Mike just talked about now, 6 without a win, and that will be a worry for Frank Lampard. I'm sure it will do. They are, of course, have brought in some reinforcements. They need time a little bit to bed in. But you're right, those players that have been so good so far, you can't just take your foot off. You've got to keep it to the floor in this league if you want to pull yourself away from the teams that are chasing.
Good result tonight for Ipswich and Middlesbrough, who'll be watching on. No chance of Norwich City going down now as you listen to their fans celebrate inside Carrow Road?
Not a chance. Not with that type of performance that Philippe Clement has brought. I mean, we're watching here all the players and the staff, standing facing the Barclays, and that connection is so important between players, staff and supporters to give you that drive to the end of the season. What they can do, who knows? But they're not going to be a team that anyone wants to play at the moment.
Not at all. Very much a celebratory night inside Carrow Road. Dean Ashton and Mike Sewell, thank you very much indeed. I'm sure there'll be reaction throughout the evening on Talksport. If you want to call the guys on the sports bar, just getting underway, Jason Cundy and Jamie O'Hara, the number to call 03717 22 3344.